Well, Cowboys Nation, it was fun while it lasted. The Cowboys' three-game winning streak comes to a close, 44-30, the final score. Welcome in to the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper with Nicole Hutchison, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. The Cowboys fall to the Detroit Lions, seeing their playoff hopes dealt a near-fatal blow. Their playoff percentage goes from 22% down to 6%, or one of the percentage numbers that were thrown out by Amazon Prime. They threw out like 45 numbers. So by this point, we just know the percentage is low for the Cowboys. But there's a lot of things to break down here. 44 points allowed. The Cowboys offense took really 3 quarters to wake up, and the offensive line struggled mightily in this football game against a defensive front that hasn't had a ton of success in the pass rush. Isaiah, I'll start with you. One element here to pinpoint for the Cowboys in the way that they lost this football game.
They got physically just outmatched. Really what it came down to. I mean, that's one of the many things that they lost tonight. Detroit out-physicaled them. They beat them up. They controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Dak Prescott was never made to feel comfortable by any means. Javonte Williams was never really in a position to get consistent yardage. So you never felt like you were in a position to do what you've been doing successfully over the past 3 weeks, which was throw the ball effectively. They were in the backfield many times. Dak got sacked repeatedly. It was coming from all different angles. It was coming from inside pressure, from the linebackers blitzing, to the outside one-on-one matches at your tackle position. You just lost up front, and then defensively, your secondary just got torched. You didn't get any help in regards to some of the calls. You're just giving away free yardage in terms of routes on the air. Guys were having free releases all night long. There was running routes unimpeded, and you just got beat up, man. That's ultimately what happened.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about this even when they have won games. This offense always starts so slow, and you cannot have a slow start against teams like this. Like Isaiah just said, they were out physical, but when you look at the numbers, 1-3 in the red zone, 6-15 and third downs as well. Couldn't run the football. I believe they had 39 rushing yards at halftime, only 91 for the day. You couldn't get Javonte Williams going because his offensive line was struggling so much. And then when you were able to get the ball moving the chains a little bit by CeeDee Lamb, of course, and Ryan Flanoy, you had penalties. Holding negated the Turpin return when you had some good field position there. Of course, the hands to the face and DPI, that also negated a positive yardage. So there was a lot of that going on. Defensively, listen, this is one of the most explosive teams offensively from the Lions, the third highest explosive plays. You give up a team with a 29-yard play, 37-yard play, 26-yard play, 35-yard play. I mean, it's unacceptable. You can't win ball games like that.
You know, it's too much Jahmyr Gibbs. We thought that we knew that he would run the ball, but he wasn't as successful tonight. They caught him out there in the flats. They just kept swinging the ball out to him, making people miss. Montgomery was your runner tonight. He was your guy that was getting those inside tough runs. What you cannot do, and I've been saying this for 4 or 5 weeks now, Dak has done an amazing job being evasive in the pocket. It did not happen tonight. Al Muhammad, a guy that was recently with us a couple of years ago, hit us for 3 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson hit us with 1, and somebody else hit us with another one. They had repeated pressure. You cannot have that. We did not give Dak enough time to find our key players. And then when we lost CD and they started doubling Pickens over the top, that left Flanoy, but he's not that guy. So we, like Isaiah said, we got out physical, and those were 6. They had 6 explosive plays of 25 yards and more. And when I've played in games like this where you've had 4 games in 20 days, what you cannot do is you cannot get behind, because you are mentally and physically drained. You've been playing lights out football for 3 weeks, and this is what I've been trying to share to everybody. This is not an easy thing to do. I've been there several times, and if you're not even or ahead, boy, you know, Isaiah, while we was off air saying, oh, man, they got to get some enthusiasm. It's not there.
Yeah.
And the further you get behind, the harder it is, man. And I know these guys get paid, but it's still a physical sport.
The crazy thing about that, though, Nate, that team that you just played had the same exact schedule that you had over the last 12 days.
Yes, but the difference is they've had success in that schedule. These guys here, We got 4 or 5 new guys. We had a rookie at corner. When you're not used to this and you're not seeing that type of talent, this ain't Appalachian State, brother. Yeah. This is one of the best receivers in the league that this young boy facing up against. You got Marquise Bell several times. We're like, why is he on Armar?
No, on Jameson Williams.
Williams. Why is this happening? You talking about a 4-2, 4-1 guy on a 4-4-4-3, a 4-5 guy? Yeah, well, it looked that way tonight.
Maybe right now.
Yeah, but see, I'm telling you, they came out and got a lead, and they made us play for Chase.
Yep.
And that was the wrong thing. You gotta always be within 3. I mean, connected.
Yep.
At the hips, and we weren't connected tonight.
No, they weren't. And by the way, just for clarification, Nate's not throwing shade at Appalachian State. That was the last team that Savone Rebel played against while he was at East Carolina.
And I got that off your shore.
Yeah, I got you. There you go. Yeah, he's listening to Talking Cowboys every morning. I do have to bring up, it wasn't just one unit here that is to blame. It's all 3 of them. I think you saw good things and bad things from the offense. You saw good things and bad things from the defense, even special teams. You had the blocked field goal. You had the Brandon Aubrey performance again. But the average starting field position, this is huge for the Detroit Lions today, outside of the final kneel-down opportunity at the end of the game, 42-yard line. Yep. Their own 42-yard line. So they only had 58 yards to go to goal every time on average when they started the game. When you don't have it's the anti-complimentary football that we've talked about so many times on this show, Isaiah, and when all 3 phases are struggling and making mistakes, it's hard to make it up. They did their best to try and claw back into it, but by some point in the game, you're gassed because you had to make up the distance in the first place.
Yeah, Dallas just didn't make enough big plays. There were so many things that are working against them. There are some of the play calling defensively worked against them. Matchups worked against them. Penalties worked against them. You know, the inability to block for Dak worked against them. It was a lot of negatives that happened. Now they found a way to claw their way back into this ball game, making a 1-possession game. But even when it became a 1-possession game, negative things happened to them. So it just wasn't their night. There's a lot of things there's a lot of reasons why you could say they lost the ball game. Ultimately, they lost, right? Detroit Lions is a team that has physically beat up Dallas over the last 3 years. That's just the facts. Yeah. And it was no different tonight. They got beat up, and they're going to feel this one for a while.
Mine is simple. Penalties. 7 for 76 yards. You had a fumble. You also had 2 interceptions. Your playmakers, aside from CeeDee Lamb, of course, Ryan Flanoy had his moments, but your playmakers didn't play to their level. George Pickens, of course, you're expecting a little bit more out of him. Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. Like, if you're going up against this physical secondary, physical linebacker core against the Detroit Lions, you got to come with it, especially when you know the playoffs are on the line. And I don't think this entire team, offense, defense, special teams, came with it. I
just think we talked about it in pregame, and we asked what was the difference. And I told you Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery was going to be the difference. Mm-hmm. And with us playing some of the coverages we played with Coach Eberflus, and they giving these receivers space. Amon St. Brown is his name.
Amon St. Brown.
Yeah, you can't give these guys this type of space. James Brown, you can't give him. It's just they were faster than us. Mm-hmm. They were faster than us, and they beat us to the punch every time. And like you said, young lady, the penalties, not when you're on the road, you can't do that.
No, you can't. And now with 4 games left, you have to win out and even get a ton of help above you to even have a sniff at the playoffs. So the Cowboys dealt a significant blow to their playoff hopes in this one. They fall to 6-1. The Detroit Lions improved to 8-5. Here are the final stats brought to you by Dr. Pepper. One number that's not on these final stats: Dallas loses the turnover battle 3-0 against the Detroit Lions. More post-game coverage coming your way on Cowboys game night. We'll have in-depth highlights. We'll have in-depth analysis and film study on what happened on the penalties, what happened on the bad side of each of those units, and how the Cowboys ultimately fell to the Detroit Lions, 44-30, the final score. More to come. That does it for the First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.